Hello everyone, my name is Joni and welcome to Love Qualified, a ministry that is dedicated to encouraging others to experience the sovereign love of the one true God who has qualified us to be his beloved ones. I am the author of the 30-day poetry devotional called Outpourings of a Beloved Heart, and my contemporary Christian romance novels are called The One Who Knows Me, and book 2 is called The One Who Loves Me. Book 3 in that series is called The One Who Sees Me, and that would be releasing on the 6th of June 2023. On this channel we talk about faith, entrepreneurship and lifestyle. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys more information about the characters in the third book in my contemporary Christian romance series, The One Who Sees Me. So if you'd like to know more about this, then keep watching. So if you didn't know, The One Who Sees Me, like I said, is the third book in the Sovereign Love series. This is a contemporary Christian romance series, and book 1 and 2 are already out, and this third book will be coming out in June. I have shared on this channel my journey to writing the first draft, finishing the first draft, editing it, sending it to beta readers, incorporating beta reader feedback, sending it to my editor, and we are so close to the publication. And I just thought, to build the buzz and excitement for the release, I'll share with you guys a little bit about the characters. If you've read book 1 and 2, or if you've read book 1 at least, then you would have met Heather already, because that's one of the main characters in this book, Heather, and the second main character is Emmanuel. I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about them because I'm so excited for you to meet them. So without further ado, let's go ahead. By the way, if you didn't know what The One Who Sees Me is about, I'll leave the blurb down below so you can read the full blurb, and I think that knowing a bit more about the characters will depend on the blurb and it will make a bit more sense. So the first person I'm going to talk to you guys about today is Heather. Her full names are Heather May Osborne. I'm going to leave the photo for her on the screen, and which tells us a bit more about her. She is 24 years old. She's an aspiring entrepreneur. She's a marketing intern. She's very determined. She loves cats, and one of her weaknesses is that she struggles to deal with failure. I love Heather. I think that she is a character that has really grown on me since the very first book. When I got the idea to write a third book in this series, it just naturally made sense that I would write about her, because I felt like I had gone through so much. I know that every character, whether it's a side character, some people might be side characters in your story, but that side character is a main character in their own story. And so I really wanted to explore Heather's story a bit more, explore her weaknesses, her struggles, her goals, her ambitions, what she's about, because she wasn't a very nice person to Tiana in book 1. I don't want to spoil things, but they started off as college roommates so she and Tiana go way back. She's 24 years old now, but she and Tiana met in college, and we can see that in book 1. And she wasn't very nice initially, but we can see that, this is a little bit of a spoiler if you haven't read book 1, we can see that by the end of book 1, their relationship got better, she and Tiana was even able to talk to her about God. Now this book 3, tells us her struggles afterwards, after coming back to Christ, after surrendering her life to Christ. What are some of the struggles that she's dealing with, and how does she reconcile that with her past? Because if you guys remember from book 1, where she shared a little bit of her past with Tiana, she has gone through a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of unresolved childhood trauma, and she's broken a lot of relationships along the way, and this book dives deeper into her story. So I'll just tell you guys a little bit about her background, just so you guys understand a bit more about her. So she was born and raised in New Jersey into a Christian family. That's her and her mom and dad, and she's the only child. Unfortunately, her parents separated when she was 8 years old, and after that, she was just feeling really rejected by her own mother after her mother left, and she found comfort in boys, alcohol, sex and drugs, and she became the typical rebellious daughter. Through her teenage years, blamed her father for not doing enough, and she has so much built up anger inside of her, and makes her come across as rude, bitter, and making her feel like she doesn't care. And that's how we meet her in book 1, and Tiana got the short end of the stick because she had to live with her in the dorm room. Obviously she went to St. John's University as well as Tiana, and Heather studied marketing and business management, and the hope was that she would one day open her own social media marketing business. and because she's always dreamed of being her own boss, and she wants to build her an empire, and she doesn't really want to work under somebody else, but she just wants to, you know, build her an empire and she wants to be an entrepreneur. She's got an entrepreneurial mindset, but unfortunately, as we see in the blurb for book 3, her business fails. The social media marketing business doesn't fail. This is how the book opens up. So her business fails, and then she has to go back to live with her father in New Jersey. So she was working, she was living in Brooklyn in New York. So after college, she set up her marketing business, but then it didn't work out, so she had to go back to New Jersey to live with her dad, and to start all over. And she took up this marketing internship, and then that's when she meets, so it's at the company that she interns for. It's called Madu Health. It's a medical devices company, and she works with the marketing team there. She is going to meet the son of the CEO, who is the managing director, and he is Emmanuel. So that's where Emmanuel comes in. So that's Heather basically for you. So like throughout this book, I don't want to spoil anything. I'm going to try my best. So throughout, that's a bit of background for her. See how she's struggling emotionally, having to deal with like a childhood trauma. She has some things from her past that come back to haunt her. I'm not going to spoil that. You have to read the book. And also just trying to deal with those emotions, process that, being a new Christian, learning, you know, how to love the Lord and love others and just walk in righteousness and holiness. And we see that she's thrown into a lot of temptations along the way, and how she, you know, gets constantly reminded about her past life, you know, how she used to deal with drugs and sex and men, and that was her comfort. And then now she has to, you know, surrender herself to God and let him be her comfort, let him be the one who brings her joy and peace. And yeah, she goes through a lot in this book, and I just hope that you guys love her and love her story, because I really loved learning learning a bit more about her. Her story is all about healing and forgiveness. That's a huge theme for Heather's story in this book, and I really hope that it would help you guys and encourage you guys along your journey, because nobody talks about, you know, life after giving your life to Christ or life after coming to the Lord. Most people paint the picture as if it's easy and rosy, but actually no, following Jesus is not easy, but it's definitely worth it. Christians have struggles. Christians face temptations just like Jesus did, but it's, you know, learning how to lean on God, because he's the one who gives us victory over these temptations. And that's one of the lessons that Heather learns in this book. So yeah, that's Heather for you, and I hope that you guys love her and that you guys love her story and that it encourages you. Back on, let's move on to the second main character, who is Emmanuel. So his full names are Emmanuel Akachukwu Madu. He's Igbo. He's Nigerian. He's born to Nigerian parents. That's why his names are, you know, he has non-English names. Akachukwu means the hand of God, and that's a middle name that his mom used to call him a lot. So he was born to Nigerian parents in the US, and whilst growing up, him and his younger sister Olana, they have been, you know, conditioned to believe that, you know, his father, who is the CEO of Madu Health, the medical devices company, they've been conditioned to believe that that is their empire, and that when they go to university, go to college and come out, they're gonna take over the company, work for the company, build it up, you know, make it more multiply and whatever, and pass it down. So generational wealth, you know, pass it down to your children. That's the Madu Empire. That's why it's called Madu Health. So the problem now comes in when Emmanuel starts getting the really strong conviction that he's not supposed to, like, God doesn't want him to work at Madu Health, that he is supposed to be doing something else. And he knows what he's supposed to do, but because he is so afraid, now this is where his weakness comes in, he's so afraid of disappointing his father. His weakness is that he wants to please his dad. He doesn't want to be the one that breaks his family, because if you know African parents, I'm African, I'm Cameroonian / Nigerian. African parents, sometimes they mean well, but sometimes they can sort of like plan their future out for you in their head. And if you try to rebel, they're going to be like, oh, you know, but I'm trying to give you the best, and, you know, why would you be so ungrateful? And I want to make sure that you're financially secure and financially stable. That's why African parents, sometimes they want you to be a doctor, lawyer, accountant, engineer. If you tell them that you want to be like a writer or a dancer or an actress, you know, they're going to be like, why? You know, so they're all about about like financial stability and trying, and I know it always comes from a good place. Like I love African parents and the way they think, but sometimes it can be a little bit forceful when they don't listen to the other side of the child. Like, this is a grown man, he's 26, but you can see that right from when he was younger, he's still having that, he still feels that compulsion and that need to please his dad and to not disappoint his dad. And that's because that's how it's always been, with him going to school, with him getting good grades. It's always to make sure that, oh, my dad is going to be happy with me, or my dad is going to say, well done Akachuku, you've made me proud. That's the dream of African parents, to make their parents, African children, to make their parents proud. So we see Emmanuel walking through this, where he's really struggling to come to terms with the fact that he needs to pursue God's calling for his life, in spite of the opposition. It's clearly his father, and even when there is the possibility that he might break up his family, because obviously his dad has quite strong opinions about what he should and shouldn't do in his life. In the summary for him is that he is 26 years old. He's the managing director. He's the managing director at Madu Health. He's a very good leader. So he's a servant leader. He cares about his those who work under him. He's a family man, so he loves his family. He loves plants, and obviously his weakness is that he struggles with pleasing his dad. So that's Emmanuel for you, and we really, really see him move from a point at the beginning of the book where he feel like he's so choked and he can't do anything, to really walking on that journey with him, where he really takes a stand and he breaks free from that mindset of saying, okay, I'm only thinking about what other people think. But it doesn't matter what other people think. It matters about what God thinks and what God wants. And people really, this is the thing with people pleasers. I really connected to Emmanuel's character because I'm a little bit of a people pleaser sometimes as well. And especially with people that I respect, sometimes I just accept what they have to say about me, or accept what they have to say just for the sake of peace, just because I don't want to be confrontational. And that's how people pleasers are sometimes. It's really hard to break free from that, where you actually get to a point where you don't care about what other people think about you. But this is what we see Emmanuel dealing with and walking through, and how God helps him through that journey, where he gets to a point to say, no, I'm going to stick to what God wants me to do, and I don't care what anyone else thinks. So that's Emmanuel's journey, and I'm so excited that you guys are going to be reading about him, and I hope that you guys enjoy his story and that you guys are encouraged by his story. Obviously there's going to be a romance between the two characters, because it's a romance, it's a contemporary Christian romance novel. So I'm excited to see how you guys read about the romance between the two of them. It's a workplace romance. A lot of the scenes are in the workplace. I really loved writing their stories, and their stories taught me a lot about myself, about God, and I really connected to Emmanuel's character, like I said. And so I'm just excited, and I hope that you guys love their stories. So that's Emmanuel and Heather for you. This book will be releasing June 6th, 2023. Like I said, I'm so excited for you guys to read it. If you read ebooks on Kindle, you can pre-order the book right now. I'll leave the link down below. If you buy your ebooks on other platforms like Apple Books, Kobo, Script, things like that, I will let you guys know when pre-orders are open on those other platforms. If you are someone who only reads paperbacks, just keep an eye out for announcement for when paperbacks are released. If you want to know about the behind the scenes, you want to join the book launch team, I'll leave the link down below. If you want to help me release the cover, and also to get a copy of an advanced reader copy before everyone else, to leave a review, I'll leave the link down below to join the book launch team. Subscribe to my newsletter, it's free. I share with you guys personal life updates as well as the behind the scenes. You'll be the first to know about giveaways, you'll be the first to see the covers, you'll be the first to know about what I'm working on. So if you want to know this exclusive behind the scenes, then subscribe to my free monthly newsletter.
the link is going to be down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think about the characters, the main characters of my of my third novel, The One Who Sees Me. Yeah, have a lovely rest of the day, and remember that the sovereign love of God has qualified you to be his beloved one. Take care, and bye-bye. Bye.